Hello, this is KYC News. We provide you with the most up-to-date and reliable information for the day. First and foremost, we want to achieve perfect health with a sincere desire. Panama. The southernmost point of Panama is where the Pacific Ocean coastline begins. Panama is also close to the Gulf of Panama. Because of its northernmost coastline along the Caribbean Sea, the nation is regarded as having an Atlantic Ocean border. The Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Arctic Ocean, and Southern Ocean are the 5 names of the oceans. Today, the Earth's surface is covered by 5 bodies of water, including our one world ocean, 5 oceans, also known as Ocean 5, and 2 seas, which together account for more than 97% of the planet's water. Therefore, if you examine the seas and oceans, you might assume from the map that it seems like they just flow into each other. Only people in one large ocean exist. Just give its components new names. You'll be astounded by how vivid their respective borders are. The line separating the Pacific and the Atlantic Oceans act as a border between 2 worlds, or perhaps 2 oceans. Meet at a non-existent invisible wall. Allow them to converge and blend its waters. Why does it happen, exactly? There is no invisible, as far as we are aware, internal wall in what water could prevent its blending. The issue is that water can vary. The Pacific and Atlantic Oceans both have various densities and chemical compositions, salinity levels and other attributes that are visible through color. That they are very different from one another. The lines that separate the 2 bodies of water has varying physical and biological traits are referred to as oceanic copies. Welcome to the Clyde's borders between the waters. Various salinities are the most dazzling, and this is what we observe where the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans collide. Renowned explorer Jacques Cousteau discovered. He did this while deep diving into the layers of water in the Gibraltar Straits. With varying salinities appeared to were separated by a clear film, and each layer's flora and fauna were unique. When water enters one, haloclines appear. At least 5 times as large as an ocean or sea. Saltier than the alternative. If you want, you can make a halocline at home. You dispense some salty or colored water. Water in a glass, followed by fresh on top of water. The only distinction being that your oceanic and horizontal halocline. Vertical haloclines. If you keep in mind a few fundamental principles from physics, one could claim that finally, a denser liquid should emerge. If that were the case, lower and less dense higher. It is accurate that the 2 oceans border would not appear as a vertical line but instead being horizontal, and the distinction their salinity would decrease between obvious as they got closer to one another. Secondly, why doesn't it occur here? First, the variation in water density is not that great for the 2 oceans. One of them should descend, and the other should rise up while still being sufficient to prevent they blend. Inertia is yet another factor to consider. The so-called inertial forces, or when Coriolis force acts on objects, they are navigating the axis system, which is also moving in turn. To put it simply, the Earth is moving and all of its moving parts will be Coriolis force causing a deviation from their direction. Consequently, the items on the Earth's surface doesn't move forward directly but diverge in the direction of the counterclockwise and northern hemisphere. To the south. The Earth, however, moves slowly, so it takes a planet needs a full day to complete one revolve about its axis. Because of this, the Coriolis effect gains evident only after extensive periods because of cyclones and ocean currents. The direction of the Atlantic's flows and the Pacific Oceans differ from one another, not allowing them to mix. Another significant distinction between the combined strength of 2 oceans' waters. Connections between molecules or surface tension strength. Due to this power, molecules things cling to one another. The surface of oceans is completely different. Tensile strength is also present, and they blend. Perhaps they could begin blending gradually, but as the flows in them have changed over time. Opposites, which they simply lack. We believe that now is a good time to do this. Water exists in both oceans, but it is distinct. Molecules briefly interact with one another. Then let the ocean carry you away. Flow. But don't you believe that only the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans are incompatible? There are many of them together, so. Locations on the planet where there is water. Two rivers or seas cannot mix. Additionally, thermoclines have borders between two different types of water, like the Gulf Stream's warm water, as well as the much colder North Atlantic Ocean. The most amazing climes are during chemotherapy. These are the lines separating the waters that different chemical and microclimate. The Sargasso Sea is the largest in terms of, and the most popular chemical line. A sea that is a part of the Atlantic Ocean, which lacks shores, but you have no possibility of missing it. Let's examine some additional spectacular mountain climbs worldwide. On the Baltic and North Seas, close to the Danish city, these two seas merge. From Skien, they don't mix because of the water in them, varying in density. Occasionally, you can observe the waves of. When two seas collide, it makes foam, yet their water gradually blends. Thus, the Baltic Sea is only marginally. If there had been no water, sailing. When approaching it from the North Sea, a sizable freshwater lake once existed. The Mediterranean Sea, as well as the Pacific Ocean. They come together at the Gibraltar Strait and have various densities and salinities, so their water doesn't blend well. 3. The Atlantic and Caribbean Seas. Ocean. They meet close to the location of the Antilles and appears as though someone has painted water in a variety of colors. Blue. Another location where these two come together is the Bahamian island of Eleuthera. The turquoise water in the Caribbean. Water in the Atlantic Ocean is a deep blue color. The Atlantic Ocean and the Suriname River. Close to Paramaribo in the south. America. 5. The River Uruguay and its efflux. These two, created in the province of Misiones. One of them in Argentina is claimed to be utilized in agriculture, while the other almost red from the loam during a rainy season. Seasons. 6. The rivers Rio Negro and Solimoes separate within the Amazon River. Brazil Rio, 6 miles from Minas. Rivers Solimões and Negro converge for about 2.5, but do not combine. The Rio Negro is dark and about a mile long. Solimoes light. They possess a distinctive temperature and flow rate. 7. Rhine-Mosel. They encounter each other in Germany's Koblenz. Water is paler while Moselle is darker. 8. Danube and Donau Ilz. These three rivers' confluence is in Germany, Passau. A small mountain river called Ilz flows to the Danube is in the center and to the left. To the right is the Light River. The Danube is wider than this, but it is still a fluxing. Rivers Bagirati and Alagnanda converge in Bigirati and India's Alagnanda are both dark lime. Dan. Ush and Dubal merge with one another in Kazakhstan close to the named city. You won't ever be able to correctly pronounce or. Do you want to try it? The Irtysh has Ulba and clean water. Clouding. The Jialing and Yangtze are ranked 11th. Rivers confluence in Chongqing, China. The Yangtze and Jialing are both clean brown. 12. Aras and Irtysh. Both of these rivers merge together in Russia's Omsk is cloudy, and the I'm clear and honest. 13. Rivers Chuya and Khartoum converge in the Russia's Altai Republic and its water. Chuya is an unusual shade of cloudy white. Here and appears thick and dense. Clean and turquoise flowing animation. They blend together to make one. A two-color flow that is incompatible at one point. 14. Rivers in Colorado and the Green. The location of their intersection is American National Park Canyonlands. Colorado is a brown and, yes, a green state. These rivers' hues flow through rocks with varying chemical compositions. They have such a stark contrast because of this. With colors. 15. They flew above the Rhone and Arve rivers in Switzerland's Geneva into one another. The Rhone River pours out in perfect purity. The Ava is hazy of the Geneva Lake, since the glaciers provide its water. And Chamonix Valley. Today is the main topic here. I believe you'll like it. I appreciate your subscription.